Hello again. I have got a pretty cool shark that I got at that South Louisville toy and antique mall. And he's big. He looks pretty cool. So I got that for $3. Can you believe that? So I'm going to have to do something with a deep sea diver photo I'm going to have to make with this guy. Also got some pretty cool, these were $1.50 for, I don't know what I'm going to use them for yet, but they just look like things that could be, this is a camera, which I wouldn't use it for a camera, wouldn't fit the right scale for the Joes, but, here's some antennas, and I can see that circle thing being a lid to something, more piping, some type of a sonar device this could be maybe, or a speaker, some rails, and a circle thing. All of those were in a little baggie for $1.50. I thought that was pretty cool. But my main purpose today is I'm going to do an unboxing of a Tuskegee Airman, and I have a really cool Tuskegee Airman real life story to tell you about the time I met a Tuskegee Airman, and I was doing a photo shoot. Okay, so I got this Tuskegee Airman with the idea of honoring this guy who I met one time. Off with that. So I used to have my own studio and did commercial jobs, and I shot for some kind of companies and things. And one time I was hired by UPS to go on a special outing with their minority pilots union. I would later end up photographing a guy. So they had a woman in the UPS who was the first African American woman captain, black captain pilot, first one. And so they got a bunch of kids together, a bunch of minority kids, and they had, back then they used to have an airline that also worked for UPS, and they could take the cargo ships out of the plane and they could put in seats. And so we were actually on a UPS flight, okay? We go to the National Aeronautics Space, I think, Museum. It's a Smithsonian Museum in Washington, D.C. And I'm supposed to follow these kids around to get promo images for them to use for their PR department. Well, I'm doing that, and it's really neat meeting this lady who's with us on the flight and photographing her next to her own picture in the Smithsonian. That was pretty cool. But later, the kids were all in the wing where there's the Tuskegee Airmen. There was like a wing or a section, a display for the Tuskegee Airmen. And I'm just kind of there, and all these kids are around, and there's this man in the back with me, and I'm photographing, and me and him strike up a conversation, and we're just talking, and I love World War II stuff. I think this history's so neat, and wonder what it was like to be a Tuskegee Airman. And he starts talking, and he's talking from first person, and I would have never known it in our conversation. He was so humble. But then I look down and I notice his badge, and it's Charles McGee, Colonel Charles McGee. And then as I look up, I realize this wing of this museum or this display is named the Charles McGee, Tuskegee Airman display or something. Like, it's the section of the Smithsonian is named after this guy, and he's right in front of me talking to me. And you would have never known it because he was so humble and just a neat person to talk to. And then I get to looking him up, and he served, shot down a German plane in World War II, served in Korea, Vietnam, hundreds and hundreds of missions. And then later he was honored. He did a couple years ago the Super Bowl coin, and he was promoted to Brigadier General. Just a super nice guy. And he just died about a year and a half ago, but was one of the last Tuskegee Airmen alive. So just such a neat person, and to think I was standing there talking to this guy. So with that in mind, I found a deal on this on eBay. Look, the leather's a little messed up. But that's okay. I don't mind that. That won't bother me. But yeah, gonna have the cool shades and the whole bit. It looks really neat. So we'll have to call this one Chuck or Charles for Charles McGee. So that's pretty neat. So that's today's haul, and today my camera comes back in, and then I'm hoping to start doing the stone zombies photo that I have in mind. I've bought some neat props for that, and then when I get it set up, I'll show behind the scenes what I'm doing as well as the image. Okay, thanks.